We're now going to take a look at a different way of solving systems. Last time we looked at solving by graphing. This time we're going to be looking at a method called substitution. So I have some steps here of we're going to go through just the method for substitution and solving this system right here. Y equals negative 2x minus 3 and 3x minus 2y equal negative 8. So we're just going to work through it together. So our first step is to make sure one of the equations is in a y equal form, meaning you want y by itself in one of the equations. So luckily, we actually have that. So step one, we're okay because we do have a y equals negative 2x minus 3. So step one is done because we do have a y by itself. Let's look at step two. Step two says plug in everything that equals y from that equation and plug it into the other equation for y. So let's take a look at what that would look like. So we're going to be taking everything right here, everything that equals y, this negative 2x minus 3, and we're going to plug it in for this y right here. So this negative 2x minus 3 we need to put right here. Minus 2x minus 3 equals negative 8. So now we have an equation with just one unknown, which is what we want, because we know how to solve equations with one unknown. So that's the beauty of substitution, with having two unknowns to having one unknown, which we can solve. So we've done step two. We've plugged in our negative 2x minus 3 for y, and you'll notice something interesting. We now only have one variable, and we know how to solve that. That's why step three is solve for x. So let's go ahead and do that. If I'm going to solve for x, I need to get this negative 2 distributed. So I still have a 3x. It's going to be plus 4x. Distribute that over here. Plus 6 equals negative 8. Combine like terms. Get rid of adding 6 by subtracting 6. We get that 7x equals a negative 14. So we're going to divide both sides by 7. And we get that x equals negative 2. So now we have x, but all we need left is y. So let's take a look at the rest of the steps. So we just solved that x was negative 2. All we need left is y. So let's take a look at step 4. Step 4 says take the found value for x, which was negative 2, and plug it into either equation. Either one, it really won't matter. So we can choose to plug it into the first one or to the second one. I personally think I would choose the first one because we already have y by itself, so that'll make solving it easier later on. But if we plug it into the second one, we'll still get the same answer for y. So let's take negative 2 for x and plug it into our first equation. So that was y equals a negative 2, plug in negative 2 minus 3. So we did step 4, we plugged that in, and step 5 is just solve for y, because once again we have one unknown, so we can solve. Negative 2 times negative 2 is a 4 minus 3, so y is just 1. Step 6 says the solution to the system is the solution for x and the solution for y. So the whole solution was negative 2, 1. Now remember back to our lesson last time of what this means. This means that those two equations cross at negative 2, 1. And we can check this by graphing, so that's actually the last step. Check your answer by either graphing both equations or by plugging them into the equation. So we could take negative 2 and 1 and put them into both equations and see if they work, or we can solve by graphing. So let's actually do graphing this time. So we're going to take our original equations and graph them to make sure they really do cross at negative 2, 1, that really is our solution. So let's start with this first equation. We have a y equals 2x minus 3. That's in your slope-intercept form. So we're going to start with the intercept, which is negative 3. So on the y-axis, we come down to negative 3. And then our slope is negative 2. So we can either go down to the right one, or we can go up to the left one. Either way, it won't matter as long as we get that negative direction. Then we can draw a line. Our second equation is in standard form, which means we need to graph it based on the intercepts. So if I'm going to do the intercept of x, I need to cover up y. 3x equals a negative 8, so I need to divide both sides by 3. So this means x equals negative 2 2/3. So that means it crosses x at negative 2 2/3. So I'm going to want to be really careful with graphing this one because I'm doing fractions. So now let's take a look at our y-intercept, which means I cover up x. Negative 2y equals negative 8. Divide both sides by a -2, and we get y equals 4. So I'm going to go up to 4 on y and see where they cross. Now, if I was solving by graphing, I might have wanted to do a couple more points with the red line, just to be sure, but because we're just checking our answer, this is good enough. And we can see, it looks like they cross at -2, 1, which is exactly what we wanted. So we just confirmed that this really was our answer. Let's try one more example. We learned in the last lesson that there's two different kinds of special solutions to linear systems. You can either have no solution or infinite solutions. No solutions would mean that the lines are parallel, so they never cross. Infinite solution means that the lines are actually the same line. The equations are equivalent. They're the same, so they, of course, cross everywhere. So that's why there's infinite solutions. So if we're not graphing it, you may not recognize if the equations are the same or if they're parallel. So you might just start doing substitution and then come up with something weird. So I want to make sure that you recognize which is which when you're doing substitution. So this first equation, if I'm going to do substitution, I need to take this 2x plus 4 and plug it in for our y. Then I just solve for x. Well, we have a -2 plus 2. Those cancel out, and I end up with 4 equals 4. This seems really similar to what we learned with linear equations of what these special solutions also look like. We had the variables cancel out, and we end up with something true. Now, if we end up with something true, then it's an infinite solution. So let's take a look at our next example. Take everything that equals y and plug it in. We have a -3x and a 3x, so those cancel out. So once again, my variables canceled out, so right away you would know that this is either going to be no solution or infinite solution. I'm left with a 2 equals 3. That's not true. 2 does not equal 3. So just like in our linear equations, if you end up with something that's false, then it's a no solution. Now I come up with something false, which means it's a no solution, which means that these lines should be parallel. And that's it for this lesson.